Welcome to the Two Guys, One Track podcast with your host, Cody and Justin.
All right, what's up, everybody?
What's
I
happening?
am Cody.
I am Justin.
And we are back with the Two Guys, One Track podcast on another wonderful Thursday.
It's a special Thursday,
oh, it's so
Cody.
special.
This is a holiday for you, my friend. What is today,
it's
sir?
420. And today we are diving into the world of psychedelic rock.
That's right.
It just makes sense.
It does.
I mean,
It did. It was like, you know what? Let's pause on the traditional
we're
stuff.
going to break off and do something special.
Festive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Festivities.
It's Snoop Dogg's birthday or something like that.
It's got to be. It's a national holiday.
Yeah.
So,
That's when they had Willie Nelson's quinceanera or something. I don't know.
Yes. Something along those lines.
Yeah, right in there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, man. So what do we got, man? Psychedelic rock. What does that mean to you?
Hippies.
Yeah.
I mean,
Generally
seriously,
speaking.
to me, I mean, it's that's generalized.
It is.
It was actually created in the 60s
Absolutely.
due to the hippie culture
Oh,
in San
100%.
Francisco.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where that's just kind of where
You
kind of
got a pin on it. Yeah, exactly.
But you think about that. So, like, obviously you see, like, the videos and stuff with, like, the weird dance and, all that stuff. That's where it hits, because you look at people and you go, oh, yeah, they're high.
Oh, 100%.
They are
you
higher
can
than
tell.
hell.
You
Yeah,
can
and
tell.
but this is my thing, too. Just me. I appreciated the shit. Okay, so before we get started, I have to do this, okay?
Do it.
Disclaimer, we do not actually think or saying that this is great. Go do drugs.
No.
Not at all.
That's not what I'm saying.
This is one of these things where we're doing the show that this is where really good music came from.
Yes, 100%.
Because they did a lot of drugs.
Yes.
So, disclaimer.
They did them
don't
for
do drugs.
you is what we're saying.
Don't do drugs.
Just listen to the music.
That's right. The music's, they did it for you.
You know what? Here's what you do. Okay, don't do the drugs. Listen to the music, and then make an informed decision after you've listened to the music. But please track these people's lives and see how they ended up before you do.
Didn't go so
That's
well.
all you got to do.
Check out,
Just the information's there.
Yeah, and we'll get into that too.
By the way, it's good seeing you guys on YouTube.
Oh yeah, how you doing, folks?
And it's good to talk to you folks on Spotify.
Looking good.
It's good to talk to you folks out there on Amazon Music.
The Podbeaner.
The Podbean. Oh, man.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
How we doing, folks?
Dude.
How we doing?
Oh,
okay,
man.
you've asked me. That was my one-word answer.
Love it.
You, sir. What do you think of when you think of psychedelic rock?
Pink Floyd.
Pink, yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Just Pink Floyd as a general blanket.
I cannot argue with that because they are one of the most influential psychedelic rock bands out there, believe it or not.
Oh, absolutely,
Really are.
without question.
They
that kind of go in all directions. You know,
Yeah.
There's some of their songs.
Yeah.
It's
They were one
That's
of
what makes it psychedelic.
They were one of the bands that didn't pioneer it.
No, right.
But
right,
they
right.
definitely
mastered it, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you
They're
go.
the ones that kind of influenced others and also kind of pushed that kind of, this is what the setting stones is. That's where we're at with that.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that was it's it had some time first, and then it kind of went, okay, we figured out what it was, because it seemed like everybody jumped into the psychedelic rock. Because, like we've talked, subgenre, right?
Yeah.
And everybody just kind of slipped into it. And that was because there was a shit ton of drugs floating around anyway, so it was kind of like a
100%.
thing.
It's a byproduct of
yeah,
it,
it's like when Coke was a huge thing back in, the
man.
day.
Oh, yeah.
And it was,
yeah, we talked about Motley Crue. That's true.
There you go. I mean, piles of it. And it was, Tony Montana shit.
Oh, yeah.
But, so a little bit of background on it. Yeah?
Ooh, yes.
So, obviously said it was influenced in the 60s
Oh, yeah, big time.
by the hippie culture.
Yep.
And it was done on hallucinogenics.
Oh,
so
yes.
primarily LSD
Yep.
and marijuana.
And dimethyltryptamine.
Yeah. Yeah. The good shit.
Yep. Talk to trees shit.
Yes.
That Led Zeppelin shit.
Yep. So the characteristics of psychedelic rock. So to be characterized as it, you had to have sound effects.
Definitely.
So there was the distortion, the phasing, the reverb,
yeah,
the reverse
phasers,
sound, all that stuff. Trippy shit. They actually defined it as
that wah, 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 wah,
trippy studio effects. Yes.
Yeah, it's like the Jetsons, just general.
Honestly, it's the right time.
Yes, it
you
is.
think about
Yeah,
it,
oh, wow.
it's the right time.
Well, and again, I think that goes back to, we talked about the Gorillas before, where they had that soundboard. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure at that time, those soundboards, they probably had those stock sounds, and it just, somebody was like, well, what if you bend the shit out of this note? And it just all of a sudden, and he was on acid while he did it. And,
funny enough, number 2, innovative use of instruments. So the
thank
bendy
see?
shit. There
or
it is.
What's that one thing? The theremin? You know, where you move your hand up and down? It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
and shit. Sheldon from Big Bang Theory.
so,
That's where I saw that for the first time.
Indian instruments.
Yeah.
The sitar.
Oh, man, the sitar, like the freaking Beatles. They probably put
Keyboards were coming into the whole
Big
thing.
time in the organs
like a
and-
mellotron, which is an analog sampler.
Yep.
Harpsichords, organs.
Harpsichords.
They had
freaking
electric
sick.
organs got
Yep.
huge.
Big time.
So, like, I remembered as a kid from Electric Mayhem.
Yes. Oh, of course.
So when you're watching the Muppets
Yep.
and there's that scene in the church,
Yep.
that was my first actual dose of this is psychedelic rock.
Oh, big time.
You know, Dr. Teeth was, yeah.
It kind of like...
man, the chick that was the bass player.
Yeah.
Man,
I hate to say it,
she's
but, like,
tripped.
It's like that kind of music almost like scares me a little bit in a way. You know what I mean?
Dude, no, that exactly is it. Because
Like-
when I watched that movie, the original Muppet
yeah,
movie,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
that scene always scared the shit out of me.
Of course. Yeah.
Loved Animal, but that scene scared the shit out of me. And it was because it was the type of music. It was so different, you know?
Big time.
But, so yeah, that's 2. 3 is improv.
Yep.
This is where the length of guitar solos gets absolutely ridiculous.
Thanks, Frank Zappa.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Jimmy, all these guys, it was that they would just get lost in it.
Shout out to Don T's Cookies, by the way.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
cookies
my
tonight, folks.
Lord.
Amaze balls.
Oh,
Well, we got peanut butter and double chocolate marshmallow.
the double chocolate marshmallow doesn't even make sense how good it is.
Oh, dude, they're just you put 2 really good cookies in it in front of fat guys, and we're good, right?
Say less.
4, which by the way, we say fat guys, but this guy's lost a shit ton of weight, so
I'm
good,
trying.
good for
Trying.
you, buddy.
I'm
You really
trying.
had, you look great. Abstract lyrics.
Ooh,
is
yeah.
the last
Yeah,
ingredient.
because, listen, I like. There's a lot of those songs that it's just like movie lines or something. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that and it doesn't make sense.
no, It does none. Like,
Right?
None at all.
It's just
Granted,
they pull it out of
we're
their ass.
not high,
But that's the
so that might be why.
They actually talked about hallucinogenic drug use.
right.
That
And
was
that experience. Yeah.
exactly. It was trying to find definition of how do I explain this really high.
So it's kind of a lot like how well, with other, like, even rock and roll in itself, it's like explaining how you feel about something in a way.
It was the trend, right?
That's true. Yeah, because
So-
it wasn't so much like, I think if you think about psychedelic rock, people think like this is music made to listen to while you trip out. And no, it's more like music made about what it's like to trip out.
Interestingly enough, we will get into that aspect of it here towards a little bit later in the discussion,
Love it.
because there's a whole thing on that now
Mhm.
that's actually recent, not back then. It's actually today
Solid.
type shit.
Okay.
So bands that defined the sound. It was notably West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
You know, obviously.
Yep.
But Grateful Dead, Doors,
I love the Dead.
Jefferson Airplane. Those
I
were
love
the
Jefferson Airplane so fucking much, man.
and Iron Butterfly, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you've got those are like the top 4 that just kind of started it and goes, okay, here we go. Hang on, you know.
Oh yeah.
When they did
Like that first wave.
yeah, they were the pioneers, if you want to call them that, right?
There you go.
So Jefferson Airplane, when they did White Rabbit,
that was trippy.
that's it. That was it. That was it, right?
Yep.
And that, yeah.
Wow.
So at that point, after that stuff started coming out, rock turned psychedelic, right?
Oh yeah.
So you got Beach Boys. Even put out an album called Pet Sounds.
Dude, oh my gosh.
That was
I never
psychedelic.
even put those two together.
Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense. That's
Yeah.
weird.
The Birds,
Love the Birds.
the Stones.
Yep. Oh, of course.
The Yardbirds, different band, but
Yep.
yeah, okay. Big time, the Beatles.
Of
when they were
course.
trying LSD.
Yep.
They did Sgt. Pepper Lonely
Lonely
Hearts Club. Yeah,
Band.
that's hard to do. And Magical Mystery Tour. When they did that was all done. It was psychedelic sound, and they were experimenting with LSD, folks.
Do you remember the movie Dewey Cox? Born
Oh,
to Be a
God, yeah.
Star?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
Paul Rudd plays. Who does he? Which one does he play?
I can't remember, but I know what you're talking about.
Yes, and they're talking about doing acid and everything. Do you want to do acid with the Beatles? And then Jack Black, he's in that too, actually. Little cameo there.
And who better He would be a great
Yeah.
acting psychedelic rocker. He'd be perfect.
Oh my gosh.
And then of course you have the rise of Pink Floyd, which is one of my favorite bands. We talked about several times over the podcast.
Can't get enough.
I looked some stuff up here, and it said the first album they did, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, in '67. Syd Barrett composed a slew.
67.
Holy
shit.
Right? Yeah. It makes you think,
That's
doesn't
the year
it?
my mom was born.
That's when Pink Floyd had their first album.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes you think, right? So Syd Barrett. So this is the originals. This is the beginning, right?
That's another hole we missed on our 60s episode, then,
yeah,
isn't
we
it?
did. Yeah.
If you think about it.
He released or composed a slew of hypnotic acid rock tracks.
Bet.
And the album's a classic. You know, so
That's
it's
so strange.
Yeah.
But cool.
Yeah. Pink Floyd headlined a massive counterculture fundraiser concert in London called the 14-Hour Technicolor Dream. That had to be insane.
I would have loved to go into that.
It had, let me see here if I can kind of get some
Dig
British
on it.
avant-garde psychedelic band Soft Machine and counterculture luminaries like Andy Warhol, Yoko Ono, and John Lennon also appeared at the concert.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yoko. Ugh.
Andy Warhol would have fit right in on that crap.
By the way, how'd you like that video of her and Chuck Berry that I sent you a while back?
That's
the one I've always joked about.
Funny.
It's so bad.
He just had that look like,
he just looks back like, and then all of a sudden her mic cuts out.
Yeah, mute her.
Yeah, if Chuck Berry says stop, you stop.
Yeah. That was kind of bad that got let go.
She's just like,
she just started convulsing or something. It was bad.
I don't know what it was.
If you haven't seen it, try to find that. It's
just
on
look up
YouTube.
Yoko Ono, Chuck Berry. You'll find it every time.
You'll kind of get that. You'll understand where that annoyance comes from. And then, of course, it didn't last real long, right? So in the late 60s, 69, Woodstock, which of course it was so you got to have an ending with a bang, right? So that's what the whole idea was.
So we could call probably like Santana and that psychedelic.
Oh, they fit in there.
Rock
Absolutely.
then, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're absolutely.
Because they just go on forever.
Yep.
Well, actually, so Carlos, there's a funny story about that with Woodstock. I was watching him on a podcast recently. I think it was on Howard Stern's. And he was talking about playing that show. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it was the guys from the Dead or who it was, but they get to Woodstock and they're like, hey, you're going to go on at midnight. And it's like 4:00 in the afternoon. So a couple of the guys come out of the back. You guys want to rip some sheets of acid with us, right?
Sheets.
And so he does like 5 sheets of acid, okay?
My God.
2 hours go by, kicks in, snap, okay? And then the stage guy comes up and says, hey, this next act can't go on yet. You guys are on now. He played that whole set with
Tripping
Santana.
balls.
He said he had no idea what was going on, so every bit of that was a complete drug-induced and it was amazing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Psychedelic Rock.
That is 100% what it is. Yes.
That's what it is.
Because whatever he was seeing is what he played. He did not write any of that. It was all free form.
So some other bands that kick into that, I think we said Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Doors, Iron Butterfly, Just By, the Beatles.
Bear.
You remember Donovan?
I don't think so.
Okay, check them out. They actually had a couple of good tracks. Cream.
Love Cream. Sunshine Your Love.
The Who.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, there's a couple of them. So it kind of ended because after Woodstock, the United States and UK banned LSD.
Yes. Yep.
So that experiment, that experiment was like over.
Yes.
But of course you could they were still, obviously.
MK Ultra went on. The government kept testing LSD on people for a while.
I think they were hoarding it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the good stuff.
And some other facts about that as the same year Charles Manson and his followers claimed that the Beatles song Helter Skelter inspired them for their murder sprees.
Yep.
So there was a lot of crazy shit going on. But also there was a growing anti-hippie sentiment that was kind of going across the country. So it was getting shut down, and that was a lot of it was laws and things like that.
It's funny to hear because that's exactly like the whole movement. So it just fuels the movement to continue.
And then, of course, on the side of it, this is where my man Cody here meant do your homework before. Hendrix, Joplin, and Jim Morrison all died of drug overdoses between 70 and 71.
Yep.
All three of them.
Were they in the 27 Club or?
I don't know.
Because there's a thing called the 27 Club, and I know Janice, I'm pretty sure, is in it. But I think maybe
I wouldn't doubt it.
I can't remember, but I think all three. Because Hendrix, most people don't know this, but Hendrix's career was so short-lived. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was here and he was gone.
Yep. It's quick.
It was
like a flash.
Insane.
Yep. And then most of the bands that were still together at that transition, they were like, okay, we're done with psychedelic rock. Let's go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And that's funny because
so it's kind of like a wave.
Yeah, they kind of noticed and they jumped on it and said, okay, we probably need to get off this.
Even Pink Floyd changed their sound quite
they
drastically.
They
beyond that.
They did. So the 60s was psychedelic rock, and then it kind of went, just kind of faded out. And there were, obviously those were some of the reasons for it. I'm sure there were a lot of.
Like we say fizzled. It fizzled in the mainstream.
Oh, it's still
it all existed on obviously, but
even till today, it's just it keeps going.
Do we got anything in the drink cooler of magic?
Of course. See, this is the down here is the magic cooler.
Yes,
so we've got.
Isn't that like a wine fridge or something?
No, it's
just a legit fridge.
Heck yeah.
No, I didn't know. I saw one at like this little thrift shop that looked like that, and I was like, that would make
it
a
work
really
though.
Good soda fridge because I'm white trash and I don't drink wine.
Be in a box.
Damn right. Give me that Tour de Franzia.
Nice. So. I think you could put guys like Zeppelin, Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie, big time.
Even some of these guys in there.
Couldn't you say Queen in some capacities? A few of their tracks are a little like that, kind of out there-y.
Yeah,
something.
I think if you looked at what we talked about for not definition, but kind of the standards for what it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music that has those four things.
There's Sabbath in there.
Oh gosh, yeah,
too for sure.
Yeah. And as long as it fits,
yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
I'm all about it.
Yeah, it fits in that. Like I said, it's a subgenre, right?
Yes.
But
yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think too, personally, I think that even after the late '60s, so you started the '70s.
Yep.
And I think, like we talked about, they said that people steered away from it. I think it still had a little bit. So we've talked about origins before too. Yeah. It still was some origin music.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it was still. They're still going to go back and use parts of what they've used before in different songs, doing different things.
Oh, big time.
I mean, when you look at Pink Floyd,
oh man,
Shine On You, Crazy Little Diamond.
Yep.
I mean, come on, that whole song is psychedelic.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's you can't not. It's not.
It's
I don't think it.
Time
but
is like
of
that
course,
too
it's about
with
Sid
them.
Barrett, but you have to look too at it, and you have to go. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah, man.
It's kind of you just kind of you do the Axl Rose.
Well, just like that's one of those things like when they're open your heart, I'm coming home.
Yep. There's the
I
lyrics.
guess I'm coming home.
There's the lyrics,
disappeared.
right? So this is a question that I had with psychedelic rock. So you got kind of the history or basis of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So in your opinion, do you think that you could classify psychedelic rock through most any band that has had drug abuse?
Oof.
Because if you think about it, they wrote music when they were high.
Oh, big.
Or they're abusing drugs. Let's say
and
that.
it got a DeVita. Like
well, that's Iron Butterfly.
Yeah, dude.
They're one of the pioneers. I mean, up to like even in the 80s.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Because you think about the 80s, we already talked about. Coke was a real big
problem.
Oh
yeah, dude.
So most of those heavy rock bands and there was a lot of bad drug going
and that's
around.
Where you got a lot of that from, I would say, definitely. Well, because so like that even continued on further because if you look at the bands that were in rock that had an electronic sound tied in, there was a lot of drug use going on with all of them. Like up into like Korn, Limp Bizkit, like all that. Where that progressed, all that was heavily drug.
And this is where I'm getting to. You brought up a really good point. Some of this EDM stuff that you have now.
Oh yeah,
you have to wonder. But then now,
those festivals are based on doing Molly. So
that's where I was going. That's the next one. You look at it.
It just changed to ecstasy, and the music changed because it gets your heart beating faster.
There you go.
That's what it was.
I think if you want to put that classification on it, I think we could say psychedelic rock is alive and well.
Ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, no. Mm-hmm. But I think for like the hypnotic side of it, so we're talking the LSD.
Yes.
That phased out.
Yes.
But later and down the line, they found other substitutes.
Oh yeah.
To create music that way.
Yep.
And as we said, it's not a drug use is a good thing. It is not. It's horrible.
Yeah, you
but
don't do it.
It's one of those things too where you have to look at it and going, yeah, it's really bad and you shouldn't do it.
Right.
But look what got created because
right.
of it. It's kind of that double-edged sword,
Let's preface this too. It was probably a lot more pure back then. It was probably a lot more pure.
Yeah, there was a lot less crap in it.
100%.
So, I mean, I don't know. I obviously don't say, hey, it's a good thing, but man, it created some great music.
But college exists. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, college exists, and it's a real thing, kids. So
yes, it is.
But yeah, I think it's interesting that you had that because I still am this where it's like it's very hard to talk to somebody about that kind of music.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pioneer drug use.
Right.
Or say, hey, this is such a good thing but you have to say, yeah, but look, do you really think that I'm going to be bold here. Do you think Hendrix would have been as good as Hendrix was if he wasn't tripping balls?
Not even close.
See, that's where I'm getting to, But here's the thing. There's a consequence, there's action.
That's like asking if Mr.
Reaction to the
Cobain
action.
would have made good music as he did without all the turmoil in his
right.
life. There's
no,
not even
absolutely.
a chance,
Well, that's
man.
the thing. It's that's what music it essentially turns to. It just happens to be that created a type of brain activity, I guess you should call it, that created that allowed for creativity.
Right.
I mean,
well, yeah, that's 100. You
now,
nailed it right on the
Now,
head.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
There was a hell of a cost to pay for it.
Oh, yeah.
But,
yeah, sadly.
You look back at it, too, and you go, was it worth it?
Right.
You're going, no, because people are gone. Like
you're
Hendrix
dead.
had the shortest career known to man. But
then we look at the legacy and even probably what it did for his family. I mean, can you imagine what that did for his family?
Man.
They're never going to have to do anything in
Yeah,
their
but
life.
you don't want to martyr it either. You know what I mean?
No, you don't.
And that's
the
problem I have with it. It's like it was so good yet so horribly bad. And it's
we want you here.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And that's why we appreciate the ones that made it through so much.
Yep.
I think. Like even your like Alice Coopers and shit. Like he's borderline psychedelic in a lot of ways.
Well, and I think honestly, I really think that if you made rock in the 60s, you either made psychedelic rock or you were heavily influenced by it.
Had to be. And
if you were young starting, big time.
Oh my gosh.
Big time.
Yep.
So, I mean, I just
well, it was like, I don't know, it's like that kind of music, just you catch a vibe from it.
Yep.
Like it puts you in a mood to kind of just sit there. And that's what
that's
what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
And so
chew on.
That's an interesting thing here. So we'll talk about that for a little bit. So I was reading an article, and it was in The Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially they were doing research on how music was used to heal psychedelic trips.
Yeah.
So, and if you think about it, just that alone makes you think. You go, shit, yeah, no, I can definitely see that working.
100%.
And
yeah,
the success rate that they've had on it, it's like
kind of uncanny.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's like weird to think about.
Oh yeah.
But the way they talked is that if you look at it in a clinical environment, so you're you're isolated, right?
Oh yeah.
You let the music kind of be the exploration.
Yes.
And it actually helps people to become happy.
Oh, yeah.
So like for the Grateful Dead, they talked about if you listen to it on shrooms, it feels great.
Oh, yeah.
Feels fantastic. You actually feel the music. And it's like, yeah, but you're really jacked up when you're doing that, right? There's a reason you're feeling it. It's because everything in your brain's going, oh, my God.
Because you and the universe are melting together in a pot of stew.
Exactly. And then I think if you look at it on the backside, you go, okay, but is that really the therapy, or is that just bad idea? And so, I don't know how it's. I'm not saying they're using psychedelics for therapy,
right?
I think they're actually
which weirdly now that they are strangely,
essentially yes,
but it works.
I mean, if you think about it, essentially yes, that has some truth to it. Yep. Okay. But there is a thing called psychedelic therapy.
Oh yes,
and it's I was kind of like, okay, it's organic,
man. 100%.
That's supposed to be the thing. It's organic.
Yeah, psilocybin's actually one of the most safe substances on the planet. It's weird.
There
it's
you
weird
go.
how safe it is.
It's open and expansive, and it allows things to grow.
It does. And look,
So
I'm not saying I know
I'm not a
anything
therapist.
about what it's like to do mushrooms 2 or 3 times in your 20s at all. But I will say that if you did do them and a person did, maybe that person has never seen the world the same way since, and that's true.
Right. And in the article,
I've never seen the world the same way since.
No.
I mean, it's totally eye-opener, I guess.
it's a good point.
Put you in your place in the universe. You understand how small you are real quick.
It really can.
Yeah, you're like,
It really can.
I'm nothing
and I think
here, but I'm everything.
right. I think that's where if you allow yourself to feel it, and be a part of it, it has that euphoric effect.
It does,
right?
Yeah, and
So-
that's the thing. You have to. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah.
Hence the same thing when you get
Oh yeah.
goosebumps.
Exactly.
You know, that comes from something. That's your brain sending signals, right?
Giving you a little dopamine boost.
Exactly. So what's to say that I mean can't work in that example? That it totally makes sense. I totally agree with it and understand it. But something I thought was hilarious, and this is a quote from the article. It's funny. It says therapists aren't trained to change music for people tripping their brains out. DJs, however, spend their whole lives perfecting that skill.
Oh yes, yeah. You gotta have the vibe right.
You go to
right?
a rave,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that guy knows exactly what's going on because he's tripping with
So
you.
there's a movie
It's crazy.
about raves. I don't know what it's called, but it's got Zac Efron in it, and he plays this famous DJ, and it's like the science of these festivals and how he's like one of the pioneers of this music. It's about a real person. I just don't know who.
Right.
But he goes through and explains like the heartbeat and the rhythm of the crowd, and you can tell by what people are doing as to where the pace should be, and like it's a whole art.
There's a science to it.
Yeah.
I think.
100%.
So
it's not just a guy with an iPod. I honestly will
fun
say
word
that.
here.
It's not.
It's called synergy.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the word.
That's it.
Synergy. That's the word that makes that technology between the feeling.
Yep.
You know, they've used those two things to make that culmination. And it's powerful.
I love it.
So the type of music and the way it's done isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not something that if you're new to it, you should just go hard in the paint.
No,
with
do
it.
that. That's the problem nowadays, I think, is kids think they got to go to the drugs and the music will show up. It's like, no. If you look at Hendrix, you look at all these guys, they had talent before the drugs showed up. They started somewhere. We think of Hendrix, he had this short career. No, he also had a life before that career, and he was working hard. I mean,
that's true.
Unfortunately, the byproduct of the success was what happened.
The mainstime career was cut short.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
It's happened all across the board. Yeah,
that's fair. Absolutely. Some albums.
Yes.
We could talk about that. Some best albums of the 70s, actually, that were psychedelic.
Yes.
So when they quit it in 69, did they?
True.
So when you got Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, oh, man.
It was 73.
Psychedelic.
I mean, even the cover, the prism that we've talked about before,
yes.
it's kind of trippy, right?
It's trippy as can
right.
be. Yep.
And apparently very controversial.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Not getting back into that. Santana.
Oh, yeah.
Abraxas.
Yep.
That was 1970.
Santana.
They're such a good band. By the way, I don't know. He had some really bad health issues because he collapsed on stage.
Yeah,
Have
I heard
you
about
heard
that.
anything
Not since.
about that?
No.
Because his wife's the drummer.
Yep.
And she's badass.
Which is
by the way.
awesome. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and she was posting some stuff that was, it was
kind of grim, so
well,
to speak.
yeah, but it was all, and it was vague, and it should be. That's a personal thing, But it's kind of like you kind of wonder.
Oh yeah,
he's an older gentleman
he's gotta be
too.
Up there.
So, but that dude was just burned it at both ends, man.
Well, shout out to Carlos because he's just man,
hell of a dude.
What a dude.
I hope he's
better, man.
Yeah, I hope he's still kicking. I haven't heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard of death yet. That would be
one
we'd hear about. I don't.
And if there was, I didn't hear about it, and that's horrible.
Oh
but,
man.
The Doors, Rider on the Storm.
Yeah. Oh,
great one.
Riders
and
on
they
the storm.
but they have that like jazz type rock thing
well,
going
they got
for them too.
It's that like keyboard that cuts through for me there.
Well, I think his voice kind of helps too.
Oh yes,
you know what I
got
mean?
That just deep, warm, something.
It kind of Stevie Wonder, Intervisions,
yep,
soul album, but it's called Psychedelic Soul.
Makes sense. Yeah, because that'd be a crossover into the soul. Really, if you think about it.
The Isley Brothers,
psychedelic
soul, funk.
Yeah,
you know,
dude,
that's right in there. And I think a lot of funk you could actually put in that. I mean, come on. the biggest funk band that we can think of, Mr. Clinton.
Yes, George Clinton.
You know, that right there. If that's a big one on the psychedelic chart,
dude,
folks.
I love it.
And the Parliament Funkadelic, you cannot. Oh, those guys are great. I love those guys. Are fantastic.
He collapsed July 5th, 2022. Carlos Santana from heat exhaustion and dehydration, but he's fine. He's touring. 75
he's back.
years old.
Awesome.
Yep.
Good.
They got a new tour out right now, actually. They're selling tickets for.
That's awesome. Because live, he's an animal. That whole band, when they play, and then when his wife gets the drum solo,
yep.
It's just so awesome.
Oh, dude.
So awesome. So awesome.
Oh, he proposed to her on stage at Tinley Park, right up the road from us.
I can believe that.
That's cool, in 2010.
I can believe that.
That's awesome.
It's a good
Cindy
stuff.
Blackman's her name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know her name.
Yep.
Yeah. She's a damn good drummer. Jiminy Christmas.
It's awesome.
My dad went and saw those, and the only thing he talked about was her. He's like, she was so good. She's such a good drummer.
Yeah, man.
They like Carlos. He likes
Santana.
Santana.
Our last Google search, Foo Fighters.
It happens. Check out the last episode.
Yes.
If you didn't know
Oh,
Foo
man. We had
Fighters.
fun
That
with
one was
that one.
fun.
That was a good
That
one.
was fun. That was fun. And there's a lot of bands that get listed in these lists that I have no idea who they are. But that
You'll
was
run into that.
Yeah,
like the one song, you'd probably know the song if you heard it, but if you saw the name, you're like, what the hell?
A lot of not just psychedelic rock, but a lot of these are soul, funk, and R&B bands. Psychedelic soul was a huge thing in the 70s, apparently. Yeah. Progressive folk was very psychedelic. So there's a lot of influences, I guess, different genres
there,
even.
Yeah. It seems like it was one of those things everybody tried to get a little piece of that wave. Yep. Every
I think
genre.
The popularity of it.
There's probably some psychedelic country out there we don't even know about, dude.
And I don't know, too. It's hard to determine. Was it the music that caused that scene, or was it the scene that caused the music?
That's the question.
That's
the $1 million.
And then when you think about it, you go, I think it was the scene that caused the music, because when you look at the cross genres that are involved in it as well, you go, well, everybody kind of dabbled in it. So,
exactly.
Because it was everywhere. So it kind of became that thing, I guess.
It did.
Which, hey.
Shout out to it.
Whatever. They had Steve Miller Band. Fly Like an Eagle album in 76.
Dude, I'm the Midnight Toker for sure.
Right?
Yeah. You're the Space Cowboy.
Yeah. I don't partake, folks. That's
and then
okay.
Jake over there's Maurice. Call me Maurice.
Wow. Hendrix, of course.
Hendrix? Oh.
Never. Doors, LA Woman.
Yeah.
In 71. More Santana.
Well, it's really like you said, there's for every big band that did something in there's a million small ones we probably don't know.
Yeah.
But really, it's okay. So, I guess we could break into what sounds do you think of? You know what I mean when you're looking for psychedelic rock?
Yeah, we
touched
talked
on
it
effects,
a little bit,
but more like. You know how people use samples and stuff a lot?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I noticed that you'll hear, a lot of old 20s movie audio background floating through the air in the song.
Okay,
or, there'll be a cut where it's just a little drums, and then you'll hear, like just some shit. Like Pink Floyd, for example, that lady's just screaming.
Yeah.
Well, and we haven't even talked about it, but the whole Pink Floyd Wizard of Oz conundrum, that whole sync up. It's kind of weird. I've done it before.
It was weird. I don't know if there's anything intentional.
They said there's not. They've said
no. I don't think it was intentional.
It was just one of those things that.
But you think about it too. We've talked about this in our podcast too. The mashes that people do on YouTube that are incredibly amazing. That's what it is. Somebody got it and they said, "Hey, I'm gonna put some trippy shit to Wizard of Oz because it's a trippy movie.
God,
honestly, let's think about that,
dude. It's kind of
flying
scary.
monkeys. I mean, come
scary,
on,
dude.
Munchkins.
Ugh.
And
it's like a precursor to the Wizard or freaking Willy Wonka.
Yeah. And so essentially, I think they threw it in there and it fit, and they're like, "Yeah, see what I found."
Dude,
and
did
here
Willy
we go.
Wonka creep you out as a kid?
Believe it or not, I think Gene Wilder's character creeped me out more than the movie.
Yes, his
but
character.
It was supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
It was supposed to.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it just I don't know. The tunnel rowing faster and faster.
The whole thing, and then when they redid it with Johnny Depp,
they
really went Technicolor Dreamcoat on that one, big time.
They went like Bizarro World with it a little bit.
I didn't think it was bad.
Or steampunk or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep.
I didn't think it was bad, but I still prefer the original.
Of course.
Over it.
Always
I mean,
will.
you can't. I don't think you could beat that. They did a hell of a job trying.
They did.
And they made a good story out of it too.
Yes.
They changed the story up a little bit, which I thought was great.
Kind of like that, how that ended up.
So speaking of, since we have that,
Speak of it.
what about, we've talked about this kind of off camera, off podcast here. We talked about movies that were influential. Since we've talked about movies before in our podcast, is when we had our question time, our Q&A about the best soundtracks. Well, this fits right in there because some of our favorite ones are all psychedelic rock.
Yep.
So
100%.
what you got? What's your favorite?
So we talking like old, modern?
Just psychedelic movie.
So let's change and say psychedelic / stoner, because that's like you lose a lot if you don't say that. It's 420. I mean, we gotta.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, obviously, really a psychedelic movie. Up in Smoke is quite psychedelic because they have a couple trippy scenes in there, and Up in Smoke where they do LSD. So
all about drug use. Yeah. So it's absolutely.
And really. Man, they really pioneered a lot. Tommy Chong and Cheech Marin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they absolutely like brought that whole culture to eyes versus ears, obviously.
And it was focused as a comedy.
Yep.
You know,
exactly.
But it was one of those things too where it's like they still get on stage today and do that act.
Oh, they're still
and it's
just
hilarious.
running it. Yep.
Those guys are still. They've got new material. They still keep coming up with this stuff.
It's freaking awesome. And why not, man? Just having a ball with it. But probably that, and like, I mean, there's like stuff that psychedelic music influence. So you got like Clockwork Orange and like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that
shit
one.
like that.
Yeah.
And even some serial killer movies back then, obviously, after the Manson stuff started to go that way.
Yeah,
like the premise of the psycho druggy family. You know, that was a whole new thing that spawned out of that.
Yeah.
But then if you get into, like, you know, the other stuff, it's like the newer ones that I love, Pineapple Express we were talking about earlier, and, like...
I always thought of
those kind of movies I just can't get enough of.
I always thought of that...
Half-Baked.
I always thought of that high school culture, so the Days of Confused, Fast
Days
Times at
Confused.
Ridgemont High.
Oh, yes.
Those were the ones that I always think of.
Yeah, freaking Slater ripping acid at the water fountain. Like,
can't.
How you doing, man? Fixing to be a lot better, man.
You can't beat those. Those are the ones that kind of, because we all know in high school, you always had that time where, you know, you smoke pot for the first time, or, yeah. So that kind of always resonated a little bit more because it was like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
The music, you always had music going. Mm-hmm. You always had something going on. You know, it was neat. That's the stuff I think of when but you got like Harold and Kumar.
Oh gosh, that
you know
what? I liked all of them. I thought they were all funny.
Believe it or not, it's not psychedelic. But I mean, like Friday.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know,
it is a little bit because they trip out a little.
They do.
Smokey does the PCP or whatever. Yeah.
They do a little bit, but I mean, it's.
I
good.
love I literally last night was watching Friday at like 3 a.m. It's funny you said that.
That's a great movie.
Yep.
Took a break
Ted. Oh yes, dude. Ted's awesome. McFarlane's a genius.
Yeah. I love it.
Really, any good like movie? Okay, so like Biodome, I would even consider in that realm because it's a stoner.
They were stoners.
Movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I think,
and even like you could even say like Clerks along that line because they're
it's
stoners.
right in there.
I mean?
Yeah.
Mallrats.
Yep.
Anything Kevin James. Or Kevin Smith. Kevin James.
That'd be interesting.
Fucking King of Queens out here. I love Kevin
Here
James.
Comes
too.
the Boom.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
It's a very good movie.
Interesting enough, off the sidetrack, he actually MMA.
Yeah.
Can fight.
Dude, I know.
Like, hardcore. He can fight.
That's what most people don't know. When he's not acting, he's a personal trainer.
Yeah,
like, that's what he does.
He is a strong mofo.
Oh, dude.
So that scene where and Here Comes the Boom, where he picks the guy up and the whole he actually did that, and he goes, just so people don't think I can't do it. He did it like 4 times.
Oh yeah.
And they're sitting here, and the guy, the bald guy that was the trainer, his trainer in the movie, he actually went to Rogan and was talking about it. He said he is nuts strong, and he's fast for his size. He says he's so fast.
So, like, if you even watch old episodes of King of Queens and look at his physique, you can see it.
He's
arms and legs,
big boy.
man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
So good. You remember, the other one, Scary Movie, Shorty?
When
the The tree rolls him up.
Dude. And they're trying to put him out. He's like, no, don't put me out. I'm getting high in the motherfucker. Toe.
I don't remember if you said it on the podcast or when we were talking how high.
How high? Oh, my gosh,
yeah.
yes.
You talking about that before. That one.
Take the test high, study high, get high scores.
And their dead friend was always he was part of the
They said, all right, we're gonna get a smart motherfucker and we're gonna dig him up and we're gonna smoke his ass. It was Ben Franklin.
Yes.
Yeah, watch How High sometime. That is
great.
a great movie.
God, what was it? The one with the the guy that does the video games, PJ and Grandma's Boy.
Grandma. Oh
yes.
my God, that's a great movie.
That was so good. And the old ladies get baked because they find it in a teapot.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good. That was so good.
Sophie's Tea.
Yes, Sophie's Tea. They clean the house like for 20 hours.
God, yeah. No, I like when he's heating up all the leftovers and puts them in the oven and he just grabs it
burns
bare
himself. Yeah. Yep. She makes him like all the food.
Yes, everything in the damn kitchen.
I just felt like cooking.
Oh,
gosh. So good.
Never gets old.
No. So I think we've talked about it, so we don't have to get on it, but we talked about it. I think that's kind of like those movies have the best soundtracks.
Yes.
Because I love that 60s psychedelic rock because it's not that it's psychedelic rock, it's that the music was so great.
Oh.
But they take those psychedelic movies and they go, I know what we can use as soundtrack. And they insert it, and so you immediately have a great soundtrack. Yep. You know what I mean?
And any movie with a good soundtrack.
It's worth it.
Can't be bad.
It's worth it.
Yep.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Funny.
I'm still waiting on the new Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I want to see what the soundtrack's going to be for that.
Oh, yeah. They always have the best ones.
And
Iron Man had some of the best music.
Yes.
AC/DC basically made a whole album for Iron Man.
They were all bangers.
Damn right they were.
For sure. So anyway, psychedelic rock. Yeah.
Psychedelic, man.
Modern bands with drug influence. What do you think?
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam,
mm-hmm.
that whole grunge era,
so
if you think about it.
Mid-90s type grunge era. Yeah, I guess you can see it.
And into stuff like 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, because the drug crowd followed them. Mushroom Head, and then even into Tool.
Oh, yeah.
And like that kind. That was very Deftones.
You make a very good point. I didn't really even.
It kept going.
You do think about it, but you don't think about it.
Right.
Most of the stoners that I knew, oh God, they were always wearing a Tool shirt or 9 Inch Nails shirt, or they
System of a Down.
Yeah,
huge,
they followed that
Down's
genre.
Awesome.
I mean, originally, and I think that's. I guess
it's just kind of our era of that. Like that's our generation's psychedelic rock.
Now, do you think that it's because of the music, or do you think it's because the stoners we knew followed the music?
Probably a little bit of both, but probably more because of the stoners, I would say. Because those bands, I mean, obviously the bands had to get their notoriety somewhere, and that's who picked it up.
Yeah.
With those. So yeah, probably. I would say.
Because
I'm sure those bands, when they came out, I'm sure they didn't really have a set identity as to where they were going to end up.
No, they're
now
not
Limp Bizkit, that's a different story. I'm pretty sure they knew where they were headed.
Yeah.
They were just all together
so
out there.
I think I don't think they were kind of going, hey, let's do stoner rock, let's do psychedelic rock, or bring it back. It was just it happened to follow.
Yeah.
You think?
Definitely. Like
we got real popular in the 90s too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We got real popular
Big
again
time.
in the 90s.
Well, and I think that's because of cinema too, because it was making its way into movies, because it wasn't so.
That's a good point.
Obviously, it wasn't welcome everywhere, but it wasn't so taboo that you couldn't laugh about it a little bit, because at that point, everyone had tried it at some point. Yeah. So it's like kind of funny.
Overly abundant at that point.
Yes.
And cheap.
Yes. Yep.
But I haven't always been an angel, so.
Of course not. Well, I'll tell you, too, like, if you think about it, and this is weird to think about, but you know what psychedelic rock, it really is, and it doesn't make any sense, but it is, ICP. Their whole music is based on people doing acid and mushrooms, dude.
Damn.
Everything they do.
Even their album covers.
That's psychedelic rock.
Yeah.
It's clowns, but it's psychedelic rock.
Which makes it even more psychedelic.
Yes. Gosh, yes.
Little
scary
in my opinion.
I don't do clowns at all, man.
Brother, me and you.
No.
My dad still tries to get me with, hey, there's a clown. You want to go get a balloon, buddy? I'm
That's
like,
a hard
Dad,
pass
I
for
will
me,
beat
Pops.
the living. Nope. So some facts, and you probably have all kinds of these. I don't. And I'm not trying to push you out as
Oh.
a pothead. He's
Hey.
not.
No, not I.
Weed's over 12,000 years old.
That's insane too.
It's got they've got traces. In fact, that it's been used
Through ancient Egypt, it
all
was just
12,000 years
common-
ago.
Well, and they used it as lamp oil. So it was an industrial oil
Right.
and just rope and everything
Right.
else up until there was a smear campaign about paper that
Yep.
happened because they wanted to use hemp to replace paper, and it was going to work. Like
Right.
it would have been great.
Yeah.
And this guy, whatever his name is, I forget his name, put up this campaign against hemp because look, it goes into racism and stuff. We don't usually talk about this, but that's what it was. They were pushing, the African Americans and the Latinos are using this stuff and yada yada. It's so bad because marijuana in itself, the name is a racist term because we like white people named it that. That's not what it's called in Spain or Mexico at all. That's not its plant name. It's not its genius. They called it that because it looked bad. It made it look worse than it is.
Gotcha.
Because
Okay.
forever it was hemp. And
Yeah.
that sounds great.
Yeah.
That's just a plant. It's hemp. That's
Hemp.
what this little thing
Yep.
is. Hemp.
Yep.
But it's fascinating to me.
Which goes back that I think we learned it in history class, but George Washington.
Yes.
grew
Oh,
hemp.
man.
He was a hemp farmer.
Martha was rolling fatties, dude.
He was a hemp farmer.
Yeah, dude.
What
what do you think was in that powdered wig? That's all I'm saying, dude.
Yeah, that's why he had wooden teeth. He
Yep.
didn't feel shit.
That's a Dazed and Confused thing. Oh, you know Martha was a cool chick, man.
Right? Yeah, it's funny. When we got the internet, fun fact, I found this. This is so cool. So the internet, the first thing that got sold online was weed.
Yep. Silk
It got
Road.
sent from Harvard students and MIT students sold weed to each other
Love it.
through the internet. They were the first
Yep.
ones to make sales on the internet. I thought that was crazy.
So right when it popped off for personal use, obviously,
Right.
the internet had been used for a long time before that for government, science, yada yada yada. When I got for personal use, probably around the same time, there was a website called Silk Road, and that was the underground black market of online drugs, and you could quite literally just buy drugs and have them shipped right to your house. And so people were buying pounds and pounds of weed, and there was no way to stop it because the U.S. Postal System did not have a way to detect it because it had never been a problem in this mass
Right.
before. So for about 10 years, it went like totally unchecked, and then all of a sudden it was Operation Silk Road,
Some
and
of
the
the
government.
postal inspectors started getting
That's
hardcore.
what happened,
Yeah.
and the DAA started getting wind of things, and then all of a sudden it got shut down. But yeah,
Man.
that's what that was.
I had no. Wow, that's.
Oh yeah,
interesting.
man, Silk Road. You have to look that up if you kids are bored. That's a fun spiral to go down.
You can't lethally OD on it.
Tried it. Can't do it. It's impossible.
I believe you. If you think about it, weed is beer's cousin.
It is.
You think about hops.
Yep.
There you go. They're cousins.
Well, and one of its closest relatives is the rose.
yeah,
That's the weirdest thing
same
ever.
family,
But yeah.
same genius. Yep.
And the growing procedure is basically the same. Out at DACC, our local community college, they teach a cannabis growing course since we have a dispensary now.
Yeah.
And they actually use roses to teach you how
Same
to
concepts.
grow. Yeah, because it's basically it's the same. at
Same
the end.
concept. It's the same genius pool. Yep. Let's see. Uruguay was the first to legalize
Uruguay.
it, grow it, sell it, and use it recreationally.
And you can
they
buy-
did it in 2013.
I watched a documentary about the Uruguayan legalization right when that happened.
Yep.
You can buy 1 gram a day, and they are only allowed to sell it for $1 a gram because it completely eliminates the black market. That's how they did it over
Genius.
there. Yep, and it's just
It works.
It's a no-brainer thing because there's no cartel
Well, look,
that can operate
and
that
if you
cheap
can
and make
OD
money.
on it, and
Yep.
it's not gonna hurt you. I mean, granted,
Oh yeah.
there's a good possibility you're gonna fry some brain
Sure.
stuff, and you might be very unproductive. But I mean, I know alcoholics that are extremely unproductive
Yes.
too, but we seem to be
Well,
okay
I
with
think,
that.
I
but-
think it's like any substance,
and that will kill you.
There's truth and tolerance with cannabis. It's 100%.
Absolutely.
If you've
Absolutely.
never had it versus a seasoned veteran, it's totally different. It really is. If you don't know what to expect, holy crap, it can do some things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you won't die, and that's what you have to say to yourself. I'm not going to die. It's just
And I
weed.
think it comes up to a really interesting point that you pointed out earlier is that you look at weed that we talked about from when I was growing up, to compared to now.
Oh, boy.
And you kind of go, ooh, and then like my dad, when weed was around then
Right.
compared to when it was around when I was teenager.
Yep.
I don't think there was terribly too much difference, to be honest with you. There really wasn't. It was still Reggie.
Yes. Oh, yeah, all the way through. Grandpa even said it was ditchweed back in the 50s and 60s. Like, that's all they saw.
Yeah, yeah.
Up until they started cultivating it commercially.
Stuff where we've got we can
Blueberry,
genetically modify everything.
Kitty,
yeah.
like.
and it's gotten very interesting.
Well, and here's what I've got to say. It's gotten very safe as well because we know what's in it now.
Right.
Like when we're buying it from a dispensary or somewhere regulated, you're going in, you're getting a product, you know what it is, you know where it came from, you know what
it's been
what
scientifically
it's
studied now.
It's been tested, and it's neat. It's just and we've talked about it forever, but the fact that it's not federally legal is just baffling at this point when you got more than half the United States that already has done it, It
really is kind of true. It's kind
of even the federal government's like, we don't have a problem with it. We're just, sitting our hands.
Right. So there's a fun topic, and then we'll get into some like hardcore stuff. Not hardcore stuff.
Oh, where are we going with this? Let's go.
That was the wrong word. I don't know why I even said that.
Let me readjust.
My wife made some interesting. Of course, Dawn.
Lovely Dawn. We love Dawn.
She made us some really cool factoids and stuff like that. Maybe we dance through some of those. I think that'd be fun because I did it on purpose. I never even looked at them.
Yes.
So it's going to be
totally
new for
raw.
both of us.
And I'll just say, me and Justin talked about this before, we're not the biggest knowledge guys when it comes to psychedelic rock, so we really try to dig and give you guys a little bit of something fun. And again, as we say always, we'd like to hear from you. What is your favorite psychedelic rock?
Absolutely.
What do you like?
And get this too, we're going to get stuff wrong.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So
hey, Justin's got a little. What do you call it? A retraction?
Yeah. A
retraction. It's so funny. It's very hilarious. Like there's no. I wouldn't even call it a retraction. I just call it. I would have read it the same, and it just happened to be a funny mistake.
Well,
because when I read it, I was like, okay, Satan.
Oh yeah. So he knows where. He already. So the last podcast we had
on the Foos,
we did the Foos, and we talked about the DGs, which is their version of the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees.
Their first album and only album they did, I said, was called Hail Satan. It's Hail Satin. Satin. You could see where the I and the A kind of got. But if you think Hail, you're going, okay,
it's
it was right there.
Which
I mean, I think they did that on purpose, too.
Of course they did, because when you see that on a shelf, you're like,
they just get some dumbass on a podcast saying, yeah, it's Hail Satan.
Right.
No, it's not. It's Hail Satin.
So shout out to Dave. Your Grohl joke worked.
It worked. You got me, buddy.
Damn it, Daddy Dave.
You got me. But yeah, my fault. Sorry about that.
Man.
Didn't mean to offend or or get it wrong, but I did.
We're out here to correct the wrongs.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Frequently.
Me too, man. Built my life on it.
So this is going to be kind of the fun thing, and this is going to get probably funny. Weed has been called all kinds of things over the years. I mean, many different
The names
things.
are hilarious.
So we're going to go through as many nicknames for weed that we can either find or think of.
Done.
And try to make this just absolutely a little bit of fun.
My mom used to tell me so many when I was in high school. She'd make jokes all the time.
All right, so I'll let you start then. You
want to just ping pong some back and forth?
Ping pong some of it back.
So one of my favorite ones is bunk.
Bunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Some bunk weed.
Yep. We called it Buddha.
Yeah. Some Buddha.
Yeah. Buddha.
Cherry pie, I heard it called a lot.
Never heard it called that.
That was like a nickname that was very popular for
Everybody calls it Bud.
Yeah, of course, Buds. That's probably still what I call it. Or flower. I call it flower.
Flower,
yep. Which in dispensaries, that's kind of the technical term now. Which makes sense. It's the flower. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
Doty.
Doty.
Yep.
That's a first one for me. I have not ever heard it called Doty. Oh my God, the list.
Oh, there's so many good
ones.
Oh,
dude, no. This is like insane. I mean, insane.
I bet somebody just went to the DEA website and pulled off their terms.
And it's not just U.S., it's different countries.
Oh, yeah,
they call this
I bet there's some neat ones out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying not to look. What do we say? Ganja.
Ganja. Probably. We said bud. I mean, obviously weed.
Think Dre.
That sticky icky. That's Snoop.
Chronic.
That one. Yeah, that bubonic chronic, baby.
Yep. Nope.
Oh yeah, dude.
Left-handed cigarettes.
Got me. Yeah, jazz cigarettes. That's my favorite. Yep. Or electric lettuce. Here we go.
Yeah. Just devil's lettuce.
Yep.
I've heard that.
Jazz lettuce.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lettuce fits most of it.
Lots of it. Yeah.
You can think
broccoli is a common one in the wrap industry.
They
call it that. Little Yachty shout out, little boat.
Let's see. Jolly Green.
Jolly Green.
The
Green Monster. I've heard it called that many times.
Christ.
Just Dank.
Yeah. Reggie.
Yeah.
Said that
Oh,
one.
yeah, Reggie. And there's grades. Yeah, you could get mids. There's,
yeah.
There's freaking popcorn nugs. That's another term.
420.
420.
Do you know where that came from?
So there's a lot of conjecture with that. So number one, people talk about this all the time. It's like a running joke. It's Hitler's birthday. That's the number one thing you'll hear.
Are you shitting me?
No, it's actually today is Hitler's birthday. Yeah. So
fuck off, dude.
There's some Jim Morrison rumors out there that he started it. Now there's a documentary that exists. It's probably on Amazon. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it's called The History of 420. And supposedly this could be some group of kids that maybe they did make this up. I don't know if that's where it started commercially, but they would get out of school at 3:00 and they would go home, do whatever, and they would meet up at this certain spot at exactly 4:20 every day. And it was at like a certain junior high. It was this group of kids, and it continued.
And it just spread.
And they kept the trend up, and all of a sudden, hey, you guys want a 420? And yeah, I want a 420. Now,
okay.
my dad, he told me when I was a kid, I remember this, Jeff.
Yeah.
He said that it was because back when he was, so he said it would have been in the 60s, 70s, there was like a break in the work shift. So like if you worked a 9-to-5 job, a lot of people took a break or 8 to 6, whatever it is. A lot of people would take a break around then for a smoke, and then it turned into
that makes sense.
420.
Too.
So I've heard that as well. So somewhere in the middle of that's the truth probably, but yeah, that's kind of the three versions I've heard. Yeah.
I could definitely believe the one, and I have heard that story of the kids that when it was that time frame,
yes,
and it kind of spread from there. I could believe that.
And they said it just carried out and they claim, I mean, they really hold to that. That's how it happened in that documentary. I believe them. They don't have any reason to make it up.
Interestingly
really,
enough, there's a whole article on 420, the cannabis culture.
Love it.
Yup. 5 high school students in San Rafael,
That's
California,
used
the term 420 in connection with a plan to search for an abandoned cannabis crop based on a treasure map made by a grower.
Love it.
There you go. They're called the Waldos.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Nice.
Isn't that awesome? Which, if you think about it, the opening scene to Half Baked is essentially like kind of like that, sort of.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come to think of it.
Alley and fucking.
Okay, you ready for some funny shit?
Hit it.
Okay, here we go. We'll try it. Ace.
Ooh.
Alligator cigarettes.
I like that. That's pretty good.
Amnesia. Asparagus. AstroTurf.
AstroTurf.
Aunt Mary.
Yeah. Mary Jane. We didn't even say
Mary
that.
Jane,
wow.
yeah.
Fucked up on that one.
Bamba. Black Bart. Blaze.
Hell
Blaze,
yeah.
there you
Blaze.
go.
Yep. That's my dog's name.
Bomb. Boo.
Yep.
Broccoli.
Yep.
Thank you, Ludicrous. Butterweed.
Oh, yeah.
Cabbage.
Yep. Yeah, jazz cabbage.
Catnip.
Catnip, yep.
Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah, I got that tree. I heard that was one term forever that we used.
Yeah.
Got any tree?
Kryptonite. I've heard it called that. Yeah. You already said dank. Devil's lettuce. Dew. Dimba.
Ooh.
Dinky Dow. Doobie.
Yeah,
forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Dope. Oh man, I can't even. Everybody the old timers all call it
Grandpa
dope.
calls it dope. To this day.
All the time.
Yeah.
Smoking that dope. Y'all kids down there on my damn shiffer robe.
Foo.
What the fuck's a shiffer robe anyway?
Right. That's a good question. Foo. Gash.
Foo.
God's herb.
Gash. Ooh, I don't like that.
Right.
That's a little rough.
Good giggles. Green goddess.
There you
go. Greta.
Ooh.
Gungeon. Ham. Hashish.
Oh, yeah,
course.
hash. Yep. Which,
Herb.
That's a technical term.
Yeah,
that's
it is.
a process. Yeah.
Herb.
Yep, herb.
Homegrown.
Yeah, of course.
Houdini.
Yep.
Instaga. You said Jane. Jazz cabbage.
Yep.
Jazz cigarettes. Jive. Joint. Jolly Green.
Jive, I've heard before.
Yep. KGB. Killer Green Bud.
Nice.
I like that.
That's pretty good.
Crippy. Kumba. Kush.
Kush, that's my favorite.
Laughing Grass.
Which again, that's a like a type now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which probably always was, but never knew it.
Laughing grass.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Loco weed.
Oh yeah.
It's called Loud.
Loud. Yep, got that Loud pack. That's what we'll say. Or gas. Call it gas a lot.
Yep. Magic Dragon.
Yep. Or diesel. I've heard it called diesel, depending on how it smells. Well, I mean, then there's sour diesel.
Okay.
That was like the so there's a strain called sour diesel out there, and it's notable because it smells like fuel. It really does.
Oh,
but
that's awesome.
When I was in school, I never tried pot till I was like in my 20s. Just never had the opportunity, really. Never cared much about it, really.
Right.
And then, but when I was in high school, I just remember all the stoner. I got that sour diesel. I got that sour diesel. Now, the odds that anyone ever even had it were probably slim to none. Yeah, it probably smelled like dog shit, but that was the one. Like, now it's Pineapple Express. Because of the movie, everybody wants it, you know.
Yep.
But back then, it was sour diesel. And if you had that, you were the shit, basically. That was
damn.
like, yeah.
That was
the
after
one
my
everybody
time,
wanted.
so yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. What else do we got here? Oregano.
Oh, yeah, oregano.
Yep. Rainy Day Woman.
That's a song, too.
That Rasta weed.
Yeah, that Rasta. Got that Bob Marley.
Yep. Righteous Bush.
Ha ha ha.
Root. Salt and pepper.
Pot.
Smoke. Space cake. Or the weed is the brownies and stuff. Yeah. Sticky icky. Stinkweed. Tea. Tex-Mex. You ever heard it called that?
No, but that's hilarious. I like it.
Trees.
I feel like I'm going to Chili's when you said that.
Trees. I've heard it called that before.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wisdom weed.
Ooh.
Zaza.
Ooh. That's weird.
Zooey Mama. Love it.
Well, that's a lot of good ones.
You want to know some of the slang names that the DEA
Absolutely
has for it?
Yes. Those are probably the best ones.
All-Star. Arizona Ashes. Barbara Jean. Bash, Biggie, Black Maria, Blue Crush, Blue Jeans, Diz, Escobar, Green Paint, Lemon Lime,
Listen.
Lime Pillows.
I think someone just lied to the DEA. These are all made up.
I know.
Some asshole was like, listen.
These are slang names.
That's
the DEA from
hilarious.
Yeah. Lemon Lime, Lime Pillows, Loud.
Loud, yeah.
Let's see. Some of these are Spanish, and I can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try.
Yeah, we won't
I don't want to
butcher
butcher
that.
them. Yeah. My brother, Oh Boy, Palm, Platinum Jack, Popcorn, Shoes.
Popcorn, yeah.
Shrimp, Smoochy Woochie Poochie.
Okay, wait. All right,
Yep.
Hold on.
Smoochy Woochie
Are you
Poochie.
sure you're not just reading tracks or something?
No. I wish I was. No,
this
this
is
is
Greta Van Fleet's new album. Like, what the hell?
Tiggity. Yeah. Tila, Tim's, Tosca, Tristan Kush, Tweeds, Woos, Young Girls.
Oh, okay, wait. Maybe
Yeah.
the DEA was on like they got confused on that one, okay? They were supposed to bust a ring of freaking sex traffickers, and they got, well, okay.
In Nigeria, they call it wee wee.
Okay.
I don't know how to speak.
Yeah, if you go
Swedish.
around asking for wee-wee here, it's different. It's weird.
There's actually slang names for good quality versus poor quality.
Yes, there is.
So you got the Black Gold, Bud, Buddha, Chronic, Dank, Fine Stuff, Fire, Flower Tops, Ganja,
Fire's the number
Gas,
one.
Golden Leaf, Good Stuff, Hydro, Kind Bud, Loud, Nug, Primo.
Indoor, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's
Which
on there.
Indo,
Indo,
yeah.
Righteous Bush.
Which Indo actually can be one of two things. They consider that indoor or indica. They can be one of two.
Oh, I didn't know indoor. I figured indica, but yeah.
Yep.
Tie sticks.
Yeah. So a tie stick is a thing. So they take buds and they wrap. It's a bamboo stick. They put the buds on the stick. They wrap it up with hemp rope, and then they dip it in embalming fluid. And that it was a 70s thing. It was part of the trippy stuff, actually.
Yeah.
And they would smoke that, and that's a tied stick or a tie stick.
Boy, I bet that sent a whole nother level of
Yes.
ho-ho.
And, the rumor is that it
Yikes.
came from Thailand, so that's why it's a tie stick. But who knows if it did, but that's what
Wow.
that is. Yeah, some old guy came into work one day and was explaining to me what that was. And I was
That's
like,
crazy.
wow.
Embalming fluid,
Yeah.
really.
And he said it was like quite popular. He said
I was
the
gonna say,
hippies did that a lot.
I've heard some stuff with drug use that was done that they actually
Oh, yeah.
used embalming fluid. I've
Yep.
heard that. I just didn't
Formaldehyde,
realize
I guess, was one.
that. Yeah.
And
yeah.
easy access. I mean.
Yeah. Well, stolen.
Yep,
but
there's a
yeah.
funeral home everywhere.
Yep,
so,
yeah, exactly. White-haired lady and Zaza.
Zaza.
Now for the poor crap. Bammies, Bobby, Booth, Brown, Bunk, Cabbage, Dirt Grass, Ditchweed, Firewood.
Ditchweed's the number one, I hear, yeah.
Yep. Which is an actual thing.
Or sticks and stems.
And farming.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, there's an actual thing called ditchweed.
Well, I've literally seen a plant growing where somebody had thrown a blunt out that had a seed in it, and it grew right up on the side of the damn highway.
And well, you're talking actual weed.
Yeah,
I mean, there's an actual weed that's
not
weed called
ditchweed.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
Firewood, garbage.
Yeah,
green.
I like how
garbage.
it's just garbage.
Let's just call it what it is, right?
We'll get right to
garbage.
the point.
This is garbage. Green, harsh leaf. Mids, Nixon.
Mids, yeah.
Have you ever heard it called Nixon?
No. Now mids, see, we don't. That's not bad in the terminology.
Okay.
I know that's decent. Like that means, it's not the best, but it ain't the worst by any means.
Well, it makes sense. Mids, middle line.
That's like when you go to a dispensary, you got top shelf and then you got mids. That's pretty much what you get.
Ragweed.
Yep, ragweed.
Which is a real weed, by
the
way. It's
People
not
used to smoke that too. Ragweed.
Oh my God, really?
Yes, people would smoke it.
I kill that for a living.
Oh yeah, people would smoke it. It's got like a little bit of dimethyltryptamine in it.
Wow.
Which everything does.
Railroad weed.
Railroad weed.
Which I could see it. Reggie, which is what we always knew it as. Rope, rough stuff, scrub.
Bowl, I've heard it called.
What's it?
Bowl.
Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like bad weed because it tastes like bullshit.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Swag.
Swag is one that's common. Yep.
Shake.
Yep. Yeah. Now, so shake. That's a terminology thing. So dispensaries again. If I get something, or when I used to, anyways, I don't really shop out there anymore. But I would buy the shake because what it is when they're
It's
trimming
cheaper, right?
the finer buds, it's the little stuff that falls off.
Yeah.
But typically, it's got a lot of the THC in it, too.
Right.
So it's kind of a toss up. But
stems and whack.
yeah, stems constantly.
Yep.
That's what you'll hear.
Yep. Wow. There's a lot, folks.
Oh yeah, man.
A whole lot of
So
stuff.
fun. Oh
Man. How about for effects?
Oh man.
What it does. So you got buzz, baked, cottonmouth, couch lock.
Yeah, cottonmouth is.
That's horrible.
That's,
yeah. Faded, fried, high, lit up, mashed,
yeah.
munchies, nature's holiday, roasted, schmated, smacked, stoned, toasted, Travis, wasted, zooted.
Zooted's a good one.
That's a good one.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll give you kids a little bit of education here, since we're in the modern world. We could talk about it a little bit. So I get asked this all the time. We're in the hemp industry where I work, so we sell some like Delta 8, Delta 9, all that good stuff. People constantly ask me the difference between sativa, indica, and hybrids. Okay. So the biggest difference you said it. Indica will put you into couch. Typically, it's a calming down, tired sort of strain. Sativas are your daytimes. That's the wake up, go paint something, whatever. And then the hybrids, we call that the I gotta get shit done strain. And it's a little bit of both.
That's the shit you take before you clean the house,
yes,
right?
That is the mow the dishes strain.
Yeah,
yes,
I have heard people doing that shit before they clean their house, and they say it's top to bottom.
Yep.
Done.
Oh, it's the best because it makes everything wonderful.
So,
that's the difference.
Last thing I'll go over, and then we'll switch some gears
Let's
here.
Do it.
We've probably spent enough time on weed.
Yeah. It's not like it's 420 or anything.
No. Slang names for people who consume cannabis.
Let's go.
Baker, burnout, connoisseur,
stoner,
doper, hippie, pothead, stoner, tea-head, viper, and weed wizard.
Weed wizard. I want to be called that.
One.
That sounds hilarious.
That's a good one.
Fucking. Oh, wow.
So many
What's
good
some
things.
you've heard? Have you heard any that aren't on there before?
I'm
trying to think. Just like druggy. That's a common one. Or
yeah. Most of them it's between stoner, doper, baker. Those are pothead.
Yeah,
those are usually
probably.
the ones.
Yeah.
We used to, believe it or not, we get the term confused, but yeah. No, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, but it's the I think traditionally that's everybody kind of knows, and they kind of pick one, and that's what they go with.
Oh yeah.
Like older folks.
Yes.
Dope.
Yes.
It was always dope.
It's fun. It's all encompassing. It's just a general blanketed.
Always.
Yep.
If you're in your 60s, and I'm not saying this is a generalization. This is just opinionated here from what the people
we're
I
just
know
talking
in their 60s
from our hearts.
are just, they all say they're dopers.
Yep.
They smoke all that dope.
Smoking that dope.
That's the word. That's the references they used in their life, which
funny,
that's
though.
great. You know what it is. Of course, the longest time when I was younger, I thought dope meant like hard shit.
Yeah, I always, you know what?
Always
To
thought it
this
meant hard
day,
shit,
I
like
still
coke
associate,
and
yes,
bad stuff.
anything that's
Bad
not a
stuff.
plant, more or less.
Yes, that's chemically enhanced.
Yeah,
Let's put it that way.
Anything that's processed. Yep.
Yeah, not good. Okay, so that was kind of our take on. We started with psychedelic rock, which is where we were supposed to go, but we wanted to add a little what was some of the stuff that was used for the psychedelic
Oh yeah, what influenced it?
influences, right? So we had to go.
Really, that continues with our stages because we're getting ready. You know, here soon we're going to be doing the 70s, and that is going to direct this.
Ooh.
This episode is a very big build up to that, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Because even though,
and we didn't even plan that, it kind of worked.
No, it just worked out, right?
Yeah.
And so even though a lot of that music in the 70s may not necessarily be considered psychedelic rock, there are elements from that music thrown all over the place. You know, especially like we were talking about the effects. You want to talk about guitar effects. That hippie era completely changed the guitar in the fact that, oh my gosh, we can make this thing sound like anything.
And some interesting things too. You bring up a really good point. Some interesting things about that. We got some in the 70s, I want to say, I don't know for sure, but I got to think, we got some seriously modernized equipment in the 70s to make those effects.
Big change.
Lots of stuff got rolled out, right?
Yep. Well, and
synthesizing
that was the getaway
started
from
ramping
vinyl,
up.
Especially getting away from vinyl, getting to the 8-track, getting to even some small reel-to-reel stuff, because I know that was a little thing for a while there, too, in between.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, definitely, because then they had, like, tape echo, tape delay, all that cool stuff.
Yeah,
and to this day, guys that play guitar will pay thousands of dollars for original equipment from that era because there's nothing better.
No.
I mean,
it's authentic.
There's this one pedal out that's a tape delay pedal. I don't know the name of it, but this guy has spent the last 12 years trying to replicate this thing from the 70s and just got it done.
Oh, wow.
And it is T for T the same, but when he plugs into the original one at like the big guitar show where he's showing it off, you can't tell a difference. That one from the 70s might even still sound better. Like it's
probably.
just
it was meant for that.
Milky, creamy, just like
that's cool.
Because you can't replicate natural distortion, or natural electronic flow. Like, you can't recreate that.
I think it's interesting, too, that somebody chases that sound.
Oh, yeah, dude, it's so cool.
You know what
I
mean?
Oh, yeah, there's one guy who devoted his whole thing to one little sound.
One sound.
Because it was so pure.
With all the technology we have, and it took 12 years.
Well, and that's a musician thing. I mean, you know as well as I do, you're constantly looking to make your tone better.
Yep. Absolutely. That's interesting.
I've been chasing the same guitar tone for 15 years, and it's tweaked maybe this much in 15 years, but
I am deathly critical of how drums sound.
Oh, you have to be.
You know, and I hate tuning.
Yeah,
God, I hate tuning. I go by ear, and I have tuning equipment, and I've used it, and it's, you know, it takes time, but it's well worth it when it's done right.
Absolutely.
Man, it's just you got to constantly do it because it's like a guitar or anything. You're beating the shit out of the heads. They move. You know, that tuning goes away.
Oh, yeah.
So, like you said, you chase that
Big
sound.
Time.
So that's cool that guy did that.
Oh, yeah, man. Awesome.
And it probably is bringing back kind of a new
it brings like
sound.
It kind of brings the guys like me into it.
Yeah.
Where
you can create now.
Yeah.
Something different.
You can take what they had. And, you know, because this thing was like the size of this fucking table.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that's the other thing, the scale of this. And now it's in a little pedal that I can just put in a backpack.
Yep.
What the fuck? It's awesome.
You got a pedal board, now you got a pedal, right?
Oh, dude, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
I always find it. Folks, if you ever get the chance, and no, we aren't paid by them, and they're not a sponsor or anything like that. If you ever get a chance to go to Sweetwater in Fort Wayne, Indiana,
Fort Wayne,
go.
If you're a musician at all, there's no chance you haven't heard of it. If you watch any YouTube video, their commercials pop up.
We call it Mecca.
It is. It's the Mecca. It's the homeland.
Oh my gosh!
You'll walk into a VW bus full of just the coolest gear.
That's where I was going. It's the old school 70s, 60s gear that they had that they would, and you could see the progression.
Yes.
They kind of do a progression thing. They have recently redone the building.
Yeah, Justin and them went up there. I didn't get a chance, but I can't wait till we go on our trip up this
man,
summer.
It is. They have the world's largest wall of pedals.
Yes.
For guitar players out there. So go check that out. It is amazing.
And the gear room, I mean, you can literally plug in any combination you want.
Anything you want.
And just rip.
They've got now they've got 4 to 5 actual rooms that you can actually pull stuff out.
I love that.
And then they have nothing but rigs inside, and you can plug in and get all the effects. You can take a pedal off the wall. You can literally, it's a plug and play.
Well, they're one
and
of the
they
only
have no
companies
problems.
I know that as a guitar player, I can get on their website, pick the exact serial number guitar I want, see that model, then me and Justin can go up there. Typically 9 times out of 10, they'll pull it out from the back, and I can look at it and hold it before I even buy it, so I know it's the one I want.
Yep.
It's amazing. They give you the weights, the birth date,
And
whole
then
nine.
they assign you a tech to do
Oh
anything and
my
everything
gosh.
you want to it. And
Shout
then
out
they
to
call
Adam. My tech has been great.
Oh.
I've had the same tech for a decade almost.
Yup. And I have had the same gentleman too. And let me tell you, I've been on the phone with that guy. I've sent emails back and forth to that guy asking questions about what fads
Like
are.
they would call and just be like, "Hey, that pedal you bought, is it working good? Like
Every
everything cool
time.
with it? We heard like maybe a couple people had this issue.
Every
Make sure
time.
you didn't have it. Whatever. Oh man,
Look, folks, they're great. If you got anything with music,
yes.
And like I said, this is just us preaching on them. They're
Yeah, we
great.
just love 'em.
There's no
We can buy 'em
affiliation
from
there
them,
at all.
I've
But man, they're great. Love
spent
them.
enough to feed a kid for 10 years in there, but I can't get enough. I love that
Worth
place.
every minute.
Yes.
Worth every
Oh.
penny.
Yeah, and every time we go, they have just so much to see. It's just so neat.
It's awesome.
Sweet.
Okay, so like I said earlier, if this is what you want to do, we can check some of these. All right, so instead of questions tonight, these are actually just some fun facts, I guess. These are all I don't want to say fact checked, but they can be.
They're sourceable.
They're sourceable.
Yes.
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
Got you.
And she did a hell of a job kind of coming up with some really neat or interesting topic points.
We got to get Dawn's face on here one night.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll get her on the
With the
podcast
people.
one
Oh
night.
my
We'll
gosh,
get her
that would be
mic. We'll
great.
set her
Yeah,
up. Yeah,
that'd be
we'll
awesome.
just let her do her whole thing here.
Yes.
So I haven't looked at these. She wrote them last week, right? Actually, last Thursday when we did our Food Fighters podcast. She was upstairs going to town.
Oh, yeah. By the time I left, she had already a whole page worth of just awesomeness.
So I've been sitting on this. It's been bugging me. I haven't looked at it. So we can do this journey together here.
Let's do it.
So, first one. Billy Joel's Only the Good Die Young is about a man trying to convince a Catholic girl to lose her virginity to him.
Solid. Wow.
No idea.
Oh
But when you really
gosh.
stop and now think about it,
yeah.
no, I can definitely see it now.
Oh, yeah.
I can definitely see it now.
Oh, no.
When you think about it, you
gets
hear it in
worse
your head.
The more I sing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Wow.
That's pretty bad.
Sweet Child of Mine was apparently written in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Nuts.
One of the best songs ever, in my opinion, anyway. And just, well, and sometimes, you could see how that was probably written because he was probably dicking around with some riff, and then everyone's like, what's that?
Sometimes
we've been there.
And sometimes shit just flows in.
Oh, yeah.
And
you
it's
can't
like,
help
oh,
it.
this is easy.
Yep.
And you just know where to go.
just
Or you've got something you've been,
flows.
like we
Yeah,
talked
you've
about,
been
you've had in your
sitting
back
on.
pocket. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it fits perfect. Yeah. Let's see.
Shout out to allergy season. Sorry for the sniffles, folks.
Oh, no, bro. You're good. Justin Timberlake's Rock Your Body was written by Pharrell for Michael Jackson's final album, Invincible.
Really? Oh, by Pharrell?
Pharrell.
That's
Pharrell.
awesome.
I said Pharrell.
I was like, well, my brain was like,
Pharrell.
Will Ferrell wrote a song? Oh, Pharrell. Got it.
Yeah, I'm not real big on some of the modern stuff,
Oh,
so I'm
that's
going to
cool.
pronounce stuff, guys. Sorry.
That's where I fill in.
Yeah, exactly. See? I knew this one. Most of us do. Prince actually wrote Nothing Compares to You, not Sinead O'Connor, by the way.
Yes.
He also wrote the Bengals' Manic Monday.
Yes, that's a good song.
So didn't know the Manic Monday, but I knew the Nothing Compares because he actually does. And then the what's his face did it unplugged before he passed away. You know what I'm talking about. Soundgarden.
Cornell.
Yeah, Chris
Yep.
Cornell. Yep. Sorry, couldn't think of it. Had a roadblock.
Yep.
The song "There She Goes" by Sixpence None the Richer is about heroin.
Oh yeah. So's She Talks to Angels by Counting Crows.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
Funny about Angels is Sarah McLachlan's Angels is about heroin
funny?
addiction.
Isn't that funny?
And yet we pay it for all of the sad little puppies.
Oh my God, I know.
But once again, when you listen to the song now,
you
go, oh.
In the arms. You're like,
Yeah.
damn it.
Shit. Semi-Charmed Life's about a couple on crystal meth.
Dude, right? Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Me and Justin covered that one, and we
Yeah.
joked about that all the time. And as you sing it and as you read the lyrics, as bands do, you're like, oh. Okay.
No idea. You're going,
Yeah.
this got dark quick, right?
I took the hit that I was given, and I bumped again, and I bumped
exactly.
again. I said, yeah.
How do I get back there?
Yeah.
Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing was written for Celine Dion.
Really? That makes sense as big of a, symphatic song as that is.
Apparently so.
Steven Tyler, talk about psychedelic and doing fucking drugs. Holy crap, he did it as a sport.
Hold my
He
beer.
was talking to Rogan about that. It was funny.
Wow. Did he really?
Oh my gosh, he did so many. He literally said he blew the first 20 years of his money right up his nose. Like Steven Tyler is out of control up until like 10 years ago.
That is a large snoz. So,
yes,
I mean,
and you know who else was? Which you'd never think this. Rob Lowe. He
I knew
off
that one.
the fucking rails. Yeah, and he's so he's so good now. Like he's such a great guy.
Yeah, he got
Rob
cleaned
Lowe.
up. He was,
It's good to see.
But you think there's. You bought your boy from Iron Man in there
yes.
too.
Oh, RDJ, man.
He
and
was
Steve-O, like
he's
just,
a big time turnaround story too.
He's
yeah,
one of the best success stories I could think of. Yeah.
Weezer's first show was opening up for Dog Star, which was Keanu Reeves.
I knew that.
He played bass in the 90s. Yep.
Keanu's awesome, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, people don't know like the Bill and Ted thing wasn't just. I mean, that's Keanu Reeves was like a rocker guy.
Yeah.
Like it made sense for him.
We talked about this one, actually. Dawn did tell us this one, but this was great. Creed once sucked so bad they were sued for $2 million in Illinois in 2002.
Yes, because they sucked so bad.
Yeah, they didn't do well, apparently.
Well, I guess there was like a whole period where Scott Stapp was just showing up completely just ripped to everything and couldn't do a thing. Like, just terrible.
That sounds, yeah, I could believe it.
He's good again, too. He's like doing really good.
Good.
Yeah, he was on a few podcasts, and they played a show in Terre Haute just down the road from us not that long ago. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I guess from what I heard, it was awesome.
Good deal. I thought they released something not that long ago, didn't they?
I don't know if they did as Creed, but Scott put out this little EP that I was listening to really recently that was very good.
I was going to say, I've heard, and I think I've heard some of it. It sounds like the original Creed, like the My Own Prison type stuff.
Yes.
And that shit was good.
Human Clay was good, too.
Yeah, that was that second or third album. They
one.
kept roots, and then it kind of got weird after
it
that.
It went
but I mean, believe it or not, folks, Creed they
rocked.
rockers
they fucking
when
rocked.
they first started.
I really call them dad rock because they are. They're Christian rock, but they're dad rock, man.
I mean, I was big into Creed when it was
them.
high school for me. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, they were
in
damn
junior
good.
high for me, so right around there when I really started.
Every time I went to the bowling alley, if you didn't hear My Own Prison, something was wrong.
Yeah.
So. Let's see. We knew this. Freddie Mercury had 4 extra teeth.
On the way home tonight, as you say that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fred Mercury had 4 extra teeth in his upper jaw.
Yeah, and he refused to get them fixed because he was so deadly afraid that he would lose his voice. And they actually proved later through some 3D modeling that's 100% what would have happened. Yep, it's crazy. Vanity, is it worth your talent? I guess that's the question.
Disney wanted ABBA, not Elton John, for the Lion King.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that weird, though? That would be a whole different... The Lion King! Oh, my God! Hold on! Dude, no! Oh, no!
I don't know if I would have enjoyed it near as much, to be honest.
Youngest king.
I really don't. That would have been different. That would have been really different.
Yep, it would have been a whole different vibe.
You knew this. Aerosmith has made more money for Guitar Hero than any of their other albums.
Isn't that sad? It's kind of sad to say
it really kind of is.
It is a little bit.
Really is.
They're not mad about it because they got the check. But yeah.
Good for them, but holy shit.
Well, that's like the whole Tony Hawk thing and the fact that he's made more money from those games than he ever made from skateboarding by like folds and leaps and bounds.
Check, bro.
And that's what he said. He's like, I ain't mad about it.
Oh, cash that check. Beastie Boys used to open up for themselves in the 80s. They were a heavy metal band called Trip Hammer.
Yep. Yeah, we were talking about that. That's so funny.
Which makes sense because if you listen, huge Beastie Boys fanatic.
Oh, yeah.
When you listen to a lot of their tunes, most of their tracks and most of their full songs they're rockers.
Oh, yeah.
They are heavy rockers.
Well, like listen to that opening riff and No Sleep Till Brooklyn. That's
absolutely.
a metal riff.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
They kind of had the Limp Bizkit thing
Fight
far
for
before
your right
that ever
to party.
existed.
I mean, you got all these things that are...
That's got like Tenacious D vibes borderline. It's cool. It's like an anthem, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Apparently, Janet Jackson's nipple inspired YouTube. Let's see.
All right.
Jald Kareem was moved to create a video sharing site after the missing and infamous nip slip.
Oh.
I thought YouTube was out before that, but...
Yeah, it was like 2008 or something.
Maybe it got popular because of it.
I was at the tail end of high school when it came out.
Maybe it got popular because of it, or maybe it was inspired by it. I can't remember that far back. That was a long time ago. It doesn't feel like it, but it might. I know, right?
Been.
Paul McCartney, Sir Paul McCartney, is the only musician to have topped the chart as a solo artist, a duo, a trio, and a quartet, and a quintet.
Which is crazy.
Holy cow.
That's all you need. What else do you need? That's probably one, I would say that you could put him up there with one of the most decorated musicians just for the level of diversity he has seen.
Big time.
Because he could tell you, that guy could listen to a heavy metal song and tell you why it should sound that way and what could be done to improve it. It doesn't matter that he doesn't know it. Like, he's at that level.
Exactly.
There's a whole different
Which is why a lot of people use him.
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, because at a producerial capacity, it's a whole different ball game. You're creating a whole thing. It's awesome.
And I have a funny feeling this is why the Beatles had problems towards the end there.
Oh, dude.
Because he probably
come
knew.
on, yeah.
And there was a lot of that other BS going on.
Yeah.
He's going, that's not going to work, But yeah, okay.
Well, the CIA telling Lennon didn't help anything either. That was probably not good.
No.
Yeah.
The guy who invented the Fender guitar didn't know how to play guitar.
Leo Fender. Yep.
There's so many notes, octaves, and timing variations that humanity will never run out of music.
Which is the coolest thing to me.
Isn't it, though?
We can never, ever, 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 ever end the creation.
You'll never find them all,
just
folks.
keep going.
This ain't Pokemon.
No.
See what I did there?
I like that. Gotta catch them all.
Just kind of slipped out there. Weird Al asked for permission from Prince to parody his songs, but was always refused. When the two were assigned to sit in the same row at a music awards show, Al got a telegram from Prince's lawyer demanding that he not make eye contact.
You must be scared of him or something.
That had to be awkward as hell.
Oh, dude, come on.
It's like,
yeah. Well,
what do you do?
We'll spiral on a little Weird Al thing for a second. So there's a documentary about him. Daniel Radcliffe plays him. Super good movie. It's on the Roku channel. If you guys want to check it out, it's awesome. I think it's
Which
just
is
called
free,
Weird.
by the way.
Yeah, it
now.
is.
Yeah,
dude, they got some
good stuff on there.
Reno 911 is back, and it's on the Roku channel. They have a whole new season out.
It's new?
Yes, they have a brand new season. It's fucking hilarious.
I might check that out.
And it's a lot more dirty because they can do what they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah. But anyways, so this Weird Al thing. So he actually called Kurt Cobain to ask permission to do which parody did he do?
It was Nevermind.
Yeah. So he calls Kurt, and he was scared shitless to call Kurt because of Kurt's music, he didn't know what kind of person he was. He said Kurt was completely honored to have him do that.
He encouraged it.
And was absolutely over them, and even gave him some lyrics to use in it. It was like, oh, you should do this. Yeah. Like, what a weird world.
I could actually see him doing that.
I know.
When you looked at, when he spoke and when he did, the MTV things, he was shy, but he was always kind of very personable.
He was,
I guess you could say.
Funny.
He was level-headed.
Yeah, well, he was a man of the people, I guess, and he realized that Weird Al was like anti-culture, like them. I think, and so he recognized
that's
that.
a good point. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. Not really my cup of tea, but lyrics to Rihanna's song "Diamonds" were written by Sia in 14 minutes.
No Jesus criminy.
Which I can believe that.
Yeah. Shine bright like a diamond.
Britney Spears songs have been used by the British Navy to scare off Somali pirates.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep.
Fucking Captain Phillips could have got stopped by "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time."
A little bit toxic.
Yeah.
But you know what I've heard too? I know people that were in the Navy that actually have some experience or know a little bit about that, the Horn of Africa, and doing some duty through there. They said that's no shit.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Because I remember
YouTube videos of guys fighting them off.
After reading this now, I remember conversations being, because we talked about music that was used for military, and of course, my buddy always leaned back to the harder stuff, and it was, Five Finger Death Punch and Slayer and all this other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, he goes, but ironically not, pop music scared the shit out of people. Because they didn't know what to think, and it was a woman.
Yeah, it didn't make sense.
So it was like,
that's a good point.
Yeah. So it was,
What did they use?
It worked.
They did something in Waco. They played some music in Waco as well to try to flush those people out when that whole thing
I
happened.
don't remember that.
Oh, yeah,
but
that was
I wouldn't be a bit
too.
surprised. Because there's enough annoying shit out there that you could probably get somebody to go, okay, I surrender.
Dude, play the fucking Bird song. Just play it over
and
again.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might have a suicide thing going on.
Oh
though.
my
You don't know
God,
if you
yeah,
want
for
that
sure.
to happen.
The mortality rate's way too high for that one.
This one fits with tonight's conversation, folks. Bob Marley didn't believe in smoking pot for recreation. He thought it should be used for religious and medicinal purposes only.
Yep. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And later we find out that, like, wow, that's kind of, that's what
it's used
really
for.
good for
yeah.
that.
Yeah. Jimi Hendrix could play guitar 4 ways. High, so low E on top. Left, reverse, right-handed, treble E on top. Reverse left, which is right flipped with the treble E on top.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Dr. Dre didn't know Eminem was white until they met.
Yes. Nobody did. His EP, when it went and floated around, I watched a clip about that as well. Funny thing. So when they first got together to do the Marshall Mathers LP, they were together for 5 minutes in the studio. Dr. Dre had the beat for My Name is Slim Shady, okay? It was just a beat he had.
Right.
He goes, hey, it's good to meet you. I've got this beat to Eminem. He's talking to Eminem. Do you want to hear this? Plays it for him. And literally Eminem freestyled that first line, and they recorded it that day in one shot.
Wow.
They said that's what happened their first 5 minutes of being together in the studio and meeting each other. I was like, that's magic. That's awesome.
Elvis only failed 1 class in school. Music.
Yep. Makes sense, though. I was rebellious against, theory.
Well, I don't know what music it was, but if it was theory, I could understand that because that stuff's a pain in the ass.
I don't do it. I do it by feel.
Yep.
Can't help it.
We talked about this. 2010, Dave Grohl was admitted to the hospital due to a drug overdose. He had consumed too much caffeine from coffee while recording a new album.
Yep.
We talked about that. Interesting. None of the Beach Boys actually surfed except for Dennis Wilson, who died drowning.
Yes. So, wow. Fucking ironic. Man.
That's why a lot of artists don't fly anymore.
You know what I'm saying? Take the bus, y'all. Take the bus.
When the Arctic Monkeys started their band, none of them could play instruments.
Love it.
I think that's fantastic.
So, actually, it's funny you say that, but when me and Brian first started our first band, none of us knew really how to play any instrument.
Well, I don't think any of us really
We all
did.
pretty much said, I said, I'm going to be the guitar player. Brian said, I'm going to be and about 3 weeks later, we manifested instruments into the universe.
Got out my
and there
pots
we were.
and pans.
Yep.
Under Pressure was written by Bowie and Queen during a 24-hour wine and cocaine marathon.
Probably down in Ibiza. They used to hang out down there a lot.
Queen guitarist Brian May is an astrophysicist.
Genius.
And member of the NASA team that interprets data from Pluto.
Freaking insane.
Who'd have thunk it? Anthony Kiedis once missed a concert because he was scoring drugs, so Keith Morris filled in on vocals and just yelled, made shit up.
Yep.
Because he didn't know him. When Jerry Garcia's autopsy was done, they found a bottle cap, a pipe screen, a mascara brush, and a small brass key.
What
in
the
him.
fuck? Good Lord.
I guess sometimes you just ingest weird shit.
Yeah. It seems like a
had to be a
shark
dare.
autopsy.
Had to be a dare somewhere.
Yeah. No, he was on acid and was like, I gotta hide the key, and then he was like, but the mascara. I don't know.
Eddie Van Halen donated 75% of his guitars to underfunded music education programs in L.A.
And one of them just sold yesterday for $8 million.
I believe it.
The Hot for Teacher guitar.
Oh, no, I could see that.
Just sold at auction yesterday.
I could see that.
Funny Eddie Van Halen story. And we talked about Limp Bizkit. Well, these go together. So, Limp Bizkit was playing a show.
Mm-hmm.
Some producer, some person, whatever, was at this show that happened to know Eddie Van Halen.
Right.
And made a joke how it would be funny if Eddie got together and did a song with Limp Bizkit because it would be so off the wall.
Right.
So Eddie said, fuck it, I'll do it. That sounds fun. So he goes out to L.A. He lives in L.A., lived in L.A. at the time. And so he takes his gear over to Fred Durst's place, and they start hanging out, and Limp Bizkit lights up a bunch of pot. Well, he didn't like that. So he just left. He literally took the fuck off and split. He said they were all being idiots.
Right.
This is him telling this story.
Right.
So he's like, they were being idiots. They weren't doing anything, just joking around. And so I got the fuck out of there. Well, he had called because he left his gear there. And so nobody was answering the phone. He gets in a fucking tank that he owns, drives it through the Hollywood Hills with a gun. He has a rifle with him. and drives into the front of Fred Durst's fucking yard, knocks on the door, points a gun at him, and says, "Give me my fucking gear." And so the members of Limp Bizkit loaded his gear into a tank, and he drove back home.
You're shitting
No,
me.
100% real. Happened.
Wow.
There's a whole video of Eddie telling the story. It's
only
great.
in L.A., right?
Yes. Yep.
Jesus.
So awesome.
Jeez.
That fits so well. Limp Bizkit, Stoners.
I can't see Eddie Vedder in a tank.
I can't
just
either,
can't.
but until I saw the picture of him in it, and I was like, oh,
Just,
all right. Yeah,
guys,
shirtless.
Give me back my
Well, 'cause
gear.
he's fucking ripped.
Yeah.
'Cause he's had cancer for years. A lot of people didn't know that. So he was like really
okay,
about his personal health and trying
Yeah.
to make himself last as
Sure,
long
I
as
can
he
see
could.
that.
Except he never stopped smoking. Not once.
Cowboy Killers, buddy.
Yep.
Zeppelin and Pink Floyd members helped fund the making of Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, man. Which makes sense when
Yeah, it
you think
does.
about it,
Yeah,
right?
It does. Yeah,
Yep.
it does. Yeah, it does.
Especially being from the UK. I mean, that, yeah.
Before GNR, Slash actually auditioned for Poison.
I didn't know that.
He decided not to join when they asked him to wear makeup.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, I can't see Slash wearing makeup.
Poison
Just
very
a top
much.
hat and some bitchin' hair.
Poison very much had some of the makeup.
Oh, man, yeah.
A lot of red cheeks.
CeCe DeVille, like, straight up
Oh
wore blush,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Awesome
yeah.
player, though. CeCe can shred.
Let me see. Oh yeah, around 1 in every 10,000 people have pitch perfect. If you don't develop it by the time of age of 6, you never have it.
No
but if you
kidding.
do, you never lose it.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I can pitch match about anything. I can't really. I've never fine-tuned it into singing because I'm too nervous. But
Oh, there's
I
no way
can
in
pitch
hell I
match.
could pitch anything. I can find a note. Like if I'm humming it or singing it, I can find the note, but I can't hold it. I can't.
Well, see, that's where it like crosses the
do-
bridge for me because once I find the note, I find the scale, and I don't understand scales. I just know them. So
Yeah.
like I can sing.
well, that's
a
your
scale,
just
like,
that's training your ear.
Yeah,
I
I
think
guess.
for over the years,
and that
but
comes
yeah.
from the guitar thing because every
Yep.
time I'm playing guitar and I play a note, I'm singing that note to myself in my head as I'm playing it. So
That makes sense.
yeah, that whole
Yeah.
Jack Black bop it do do do. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Get out your
100%.
saxoboom.
Exactly, the
Nice.
saxoboom.
Nice.
Saxoboom.
Well,
man.
that's all I got.
Dude, we got. You know what? We got a good run. We're at an hour and 35. You guys have
Perfect.
stuck along with us
Perfect.
this whole time.
Yes.
Oh man.
Happy 420, everybody.
Yeah. Happy 420. Thanks for sticking with us.
Be gentle.
Yes.
Be
easy,
responsible.
be safe.
Yeah, be safe about it.
Yeah. Don't eat too many Doritos.
No, have
Or
fun. By the
do,
time you
I
hear this,
mean-
it'll be past 420.
Yeah, that's
so,
true. Yeah.
You know,
But
this
hey,
is-
then you have 421, and then there's 422, and then there's 420 number 3.
amazingly,
It never
It
ends.
keeps going.
Yep,
right?
never ends.
It keeps going.
Never ends.
But interestingly enough, I think kind of a recap. I think, like I said, I emphasized that I do not encourage drug use, but it's
don't
one of
do
those
it.
things where
I'm not
it's,
telling you to go do it.
it's interesting the amazing work, a
Oh.
body of work that we got because of it,
Yeah,
and I think that we actually still get from
we
it.
do. We
Um,
do. In many different ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But as long as everybody has that mentality too, there's always a reaction to
Yes.
your action. So it's
Yeah, I mean, and if you can find a reasonable stopping point and control yourself, that's moderation, kids.
Moderation
that's
and
what
responsibility.
It really is. If you get right
you know?
down to it,
It's like,
everything
it's like
in
drinking.
life,
Moderation
Yes.
and responsibility.
having a
you
beer
know?
once a week, couple
whatever.
times a week, whatever, that's fine.
Socially, yeah,
you know?
great. And I think we could honestly say that pot, if it's something that you can do to where it's it fits your lifestyle to where it's not going to cause problems
Yeah,
with work or family
exactly.
or anything like that,
Yeah.
then yeah,
as long as
I
you don't
mean,
make it the whole of your existence,
exactly.
it's probably
there
going to
you
be
go.
all right.
There you go.
Well, and look, I've said this forever, but if you give me the option any day of the week, any situation, any group of people, I don't care what the genre of people is. If you said, I'll put you in a room full of drunks or a room full of stoners, I'm going to go
stoners
eat chips
all
with
the time.
the stoners
Oh,
every time.
all day
I've
long.
never seen a group of stoned people fight. I've never in my life.
Really?
And if they were fighting, it was about like which Star Wars character was best. Like, and it wasn't physical fighting. They were just arguing. I'm not kidding.
Something silly, right?
It doesn't induce. It induces calm mostly. It seems
Well,
like for the most part.
I've noticed because I've been around a decent amount of stoners. And
Really?
yeah, a little bit. And I don't partake. That's the thing.
No, that's why I love Justin. He's the spectator.
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic
Yes.
because I think that the level of conversation actually, this is going to sound funky. Sometimes this isn't true, but there's actually some intelligence that's gained from it because I
Yes.
think there's a deeper or a lack of give a shit.
Well, you lose your what do you call it? Your vanity. You immediately shed
That
all
makes sense.
vanity.
There you go.
And you immediately stop being a person that's conscious about everything else, and you start thinking with your conscious mind, I think, a little bit.
Deep.
You start
Like
digging
it.
into that, because that's how it is for me. It's an escape. It's a cutaway from the bullshit.
Yeah, and I think that it is deep.
Yep.
You can get deep.
Yep.
You know?
Well, so think about this. So we talked about this. Me and Justin talk all the time about like these ancient alien theories and the pyramids and all this cool stuff.
all the goofy shit.
You know, I love Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock and all those guys. Well, one big thing they talk about, and that is not talked about in history because it's pretty hard to teach this to children. It is. You can't just talk about
Right.
this elementary kids. But the ancient Egyptians, if you saw pictures of them constantly, the lotus blossom, the lotus flower, it's
Yep.
everywhere in Egyptian culture. And it's not because they like the smell of the flower. It's
Right.
because it was full of fucking DMT. And so a lot of these images that we see and the visuals and the pyramids, it's a very good possibility that those psychedelic experiences led to that because
Yeah.
of what they were seeing. Because it's scientifically known that some certain substances, when you trip, will make you see geometric things.
Well, they open
And
the
they-
brain.
Yes, and they relate in nature, just the
Yeah.
same as sound. You know, when you play certain sound waves, it makes shapes.
The thing, it's off topic, and I'll be quick about it.
Oh, yeah, hey.
The
Let it fly.
we talked about shrooms.
Yes.
We had a whole conversation
Yep.
on this one night. The TV show that was out there, the documentary where they were talking about the gentleman that was a shroomologist. I don't know what
Yeah.
to call him. That literally,
Mycologist.
yeah, that literally went around and just ate different types of shroom. Didn't know if it would hurt him.
Yep.
Wouldn't hurt them, but there's a group of people. They said, this is our job. We have
Yep.
to find out if it's edible, if it's psychedelic, and
They're cataloging, basically.
Exactly.
And getting a
And-
response.
and the time that they ate like 3 or 4 handfuls each of something
Yeah.
and went on a journey for like
Yes.
3 days.
Yep.
But they said the amazing part was you never saw colors the same.
Yes. Oh, that's
You never
to this day.
smelled the
To
same.
this day.
Because they actually studied the brain
Yep.
when someone was tripping
Yep.
on the shrooms and the parts of the brain that it engaged and open up that traditionally are not,
Yes.
or that don't fire
Yep.
as fast or have synapses movements
Well,
in that part of
and
the brain.
that's exactly one thing that
it's
they're
quite
they're finding
amazing.
for Alzheimer's research.
Yes.
Is that it can actually bring life back
Yes.
to dead tissue
Yeah.
for the first time. They've discovered that, and it's through mycology.
Yep.
And so there's this. I'll go into one more thing. So there's this theory.
We're going down the hole.
Yes, you can watch, and it definitely goes to psychedelic and all the stuff we're talking about. It's called the stoned ape theory. Have you ever heard of it?
Like once.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but I have
It is.
in passing.
It
I've
is
heard it
so
mentioned.
proven to the point now where I think there's like 200 scientists that have signed an agreement that they believe this is probably what happened. So we, through evolution, evolved from a form of the ape to what we are through
Right.
time. Well, they believe because there was slow progression up to that point. We were like a piece of goo, and then we were like a little fish for 5,000 years.
Right.
But when we hit the form of the Neanderthal and beyond, the development was huge.
Right.
The evolution happened over such a
Yeah.
short course of time. Well, they think what happened is that apes and Neanderthals were eating psilocybin mushrooms because they were fucking everywhere at that time because
Yeah.
of the way the earth was.
Yeah.
It was a giant bog. It was
That
a
makes
giant
sense.
swamp. And so that literally led our brains to evolve, and it changed the primate brain from something very small to 5 times the size in 2 generations.
Yeah.
And
Developing
all this
differently,
consciousness,
yeah.
yes. And
Makes sense.
It makes sense. It does. It's
well,
kind
I
of
mean,
crazy.
from the shit that they're talking about and actually studying today,
Yeah.
that theory kind of makes sense if you think about
Yep.
it. It really does.
Well, it's the same. We talked about the red Christmas presents
Yeah.
and the stuff,
Oh, yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
really it was just a mushroom under a tree
Yep.
that caribou, reindeer,
Yep.
were eating, and that's where the origins of Christmas come from,
Exactly.
as we know it.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's an interesting one too.
It's awesome. All that stuff's so cool.
Yep.
But yeah, psychedelics, rock and roll, 2 friends.
Rock and
getting it done.
roll.
Rock and roll. All the knobs go to 11.
Always a good
Why?
catchphrase.
Because
on
it's
our
one
podcast.
more.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much. We've had a
Absolutely.
blast. Good to see you guys on YouTube.
Always.
Thank you for listening to us. We know you're downloading us out there. We see the numbers. We're checking it out.
Subscribe, comment,
yes,
like.
please do. We've got stuff coming up. We got the 70s coming up. What
We
else?
got more
I know
band
there's
in a
some stuff
hat.
yeah, we've got more pick a bands coming.
Yep.
I'm very sure that at some point we'll probably do like just a random. You know, we talked about doing something, and I thought about this today at work. Maybe doing like an episode where we talk about rock and roll movies, our favorite movies
Yeah.
that have just the best soundtracks, that kind of thing. Something cool.
Yep. And,
And
we
yeah.
talked
ahead.
about this a little bit the last time too, about doing we're still trying to figure out some things, but get it to where we do actually some music on here to where we'll do some reveals and kind of
do some reactions.
Maybe
and
it's the
stuff
first
like that.
time we're hearing something or and talk about it a little bit, and then that's where we really need to get you guys involved in it because we want to get your guys'
send
opinion.
us links and
or songs that you want us to
and
listen
even if it's
to,
mainstream,
even if it's
I don't care. There's good stuff we haven't heard there too. I'm sure of it.
I'm not saying we're going to turn it into a reaction channel.
No,
but hey, we could have quite a few on there. I'm good with that.
And you guys can also check us out on Facebook now. We do have a Facebook page up. I'm going to work on getting some shorter reels and TikTok type clips up, and we're going to do some stuff with that too, and maybe just some funny stuff where we sit down and react to a couple funny things.
Absolutely.
Or who knows? I mean, just anything like that. And one of these nights, I'm going to bring my guitar out, and I'm going to play some stuff for you guys, too. And we'll do like a little, maybe I'll play some riffs and see if Justin can figure them out, or we'll jam or something. Justin's got an electric kit, so at some point, that'll probably show up.
Horribly at that one.
It'd be cool one night, especially on the YouTube side of things, if we could do some kind of jam thing or something.
Sure.
You know, play some of the stuff we always talk about.
Absolutely.
Show these people we ain't lying.
We'll have to get good, but no.
Oh, yeah.
So, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much. Oh, yeah.
Enjoy your psychedelic rock.
Yes. Have a safe and wonderful holiday.
Yes.
You know, listen to some good stuff. And for the Two Guys, One Track podcast, I'm Cody.
I'm Justin.
And we will see you guys later.
Peace.
Later.